Um, so Ricky, I want to ask. I sent you an assignment today. Did you think about it at all? Your top three moments in BMX for 2021.
Yeah, but they're all negative.
Okay, that's fine.
I can say a few things.
What are your?
You give me your first, and then I'll give you my first.
All right, let me check my notes here. The I had just wrote three
Just
quick
one that
things
you,
down.
yeah, but just talk about the first thing you want to talk about, and we'll both go
The
back and forth.
first thing that came to my mind for the top three moments in BMX for 2021 for me was Courage Adams doing that 25 stair bar spin. Because I personally, after watching Jaws ollie it and do whatever he did on it, I I wanted to see somebody just go down it on a BMX bike, and then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, this video, like I don't remember how long ago I watched that, but out of nowhere, that video of Courage Adams comes out where he bar spun that insane stair set. Like, I'm just gonna pull up the picture of it so that people can see what I'm talking about. It's freaking insane, dude.
Yeah,
Okay,
that dude's on a whole nother level.
it's just wild, right here, man. Just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it makes sense. It's just insane that he did it.
Old Fat BMX is talking about RL Osborne, and I think he's right. I think RL Osborne coming back into BMX and making videos and giving people that were born during his time a chance to celebrate BMX again is a great thing. I wish Dennis McCoy and a few of the older guys would get up. Like, when Ryan Nyquist is doing videos now and he's talking about stuff, Ryan's young. The guys that are older than him, it's great to hear from those guys. So seeing that uh, old fat guy BMX is talking about RL Osborne, that's awesome that he thinks that's one of his favorite moments from 2021. I like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't know a ton about R.L. Osborne, but what I do know is the reactions to him that I see people have online, and the fact that he came in so, like, there was no hesitation there. He's just back. Um, Also, I want to say, because Bad for Life Brody William up in Canada asked if there was ever a below view of that bar spin clip. There was a there was a longer, like 5 minute video from it. Also, the fact that there was a video about Jaws doing that stair set, and then the guy who tried it before him, which is really really cool. And it's kind of crazy to think of the fact that Mickey Fleck also tried to bar spin that stair set before Courage Adams. So it's like the same exact story in BMX.
And it's great that it was rookies or guys that ain't big pros yet. Like Mickey's coming up, and I don't know if that guy was a rookie or not from the skateboarding.
Yeah, I
But
don't know. It was a while. I think it was a long time before, like before Jaws did it.
um, my big moment for 2021,
No particular order, unless you say so.
the fact that Corona money carried over from 2020 to 2021, and bike shops saw the most amount of money sales they've ever seen, and BMX was growing at that point. Now, obviously, with shipping and containers and everything, that slows it down. But without putting that, I want to just say I'm happy to see smaller bike shops make more money, and we're able to buy more stuff, and we're able to support bike companies so we can grow and get bigger. Now, with that happening, I hope we can realize that it's slowing down, and we need to realize that high horse doesn't last forever. But I am thankful that the Corona money carried over into BMX and made the bike industry bigger in that aspect. But there is negatives that do happen to it, other than the positive of people making money. Now, people can look at it and be like, "Oh, all you're doing is talking about money," and the way I look at it is like, you'll never have, if you don't have money, you don't have a bike company. A bike company's not there, then you don't have bikers. So my aspect is what I'm into. I'm a sales rep, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna think more about it that way. So for me, I think a big favorite was the boom, the bike boom of bike shops actually making some money.
And to
So
piggyback off of that, because there's another thing that really kind of helped do that too, was the fact that BMX was in the Olympics this year, and that was insane for the people from the countries who did well at the Olympics. Like, I'll start with Daniel Dares, because Daniel Dares is literally like the biggest celebrity in Venezuela, and he got second place at the Olympics. Like, it's insane, and his life's never going to be the same. He was already a very successful BMX rider, and now his life is even more so going to never be the same.
I'm not an Olympics fan. I'm with Matt Hoffman on that one. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, well, then people should tell, someone should have told whoever your hero is that whatever made them famous shouldn't have existed.
Well, Dave Mura isn't here anymore, so we can't say anything. Fucking Christ.
I'm just saying, people who say that the Olympics, BMX shouldn't be in the Olympics, need to realize that there were people who talked crap on whatever made their heroes famous and whatever made their heroes become their heroes in the first place. Like, if whatever avenue Dave Mira took to get to where he to the top of BMX didn't exist, and Dave Miro never was Dave Miro, just because some asshole was like, that shouldn't be a thing, and he got his way, like, BMX never would have been the same. So anyone who says the same thing about BMX being in the Olympics should probably rethink their mindset on it.
Well, I work in BMX, and I haven't seen anything that benefits us from that. It's just another corporation.
Watch the video that British Cycling did with Charlotte, because it is a perfect representation of what BMX is for so many people.
Well, I go to work every single day, and I talk to thousands of bike shops, and I haven't seen one thing that benefited it. Okay, cool. Maybe I'm going to be the only dude that says this. Fine. I know there's more people that think it. Me and you can never agree all the time. For me, it's a selected 1% that get the benefit from that. And I don't think it makes any bike company or anything bigger. It's more of a corporate thing with guys that get on it. Fine. Am I jealous? No. If I got a piece of that, cool. But it doesn't change anything for me. Every day, I'm going to call Joe Schmo from North Dakota, and he's going to buy a tire. And you know what he's going to say? Oh, thanks for the tire. He's not going to say, man, the Olympics. Oh, I made so much money. Thanks for giving back to BMX. One person benefited from that.
Nobody's ever going to say that, though, because people aren't going to go around saying, I'm buying this tire because of the Olympics. They're not. You will never be able to measure the exact impact, because you're never going to know what led something like that. You're never going to be able to tell where that came from and what impact the Olympics had on people buying bike parts, because I'm sure there's people who went to bike shops and were like, oh, I want to get a bike because I saw BMX on the Olympics. But you're not going to hear about that as the sales rep for Merit unless there's a million people coming into a bike shop. It's not that kind of thing. You just got to watch the video that British Cycling did. It showed a girl watching Charlotte on the Olympics, then she got her first BMX bike, and it went through time, and it showed her like learning and kind of progressing a little bit, and then eventually, like, it goes through time and she's getting better and better, and then eventually it shows her at a skate park and she crashes, and then she's like brushing herself off or whatever, and the person who comes up and is like, hey, are you doing okay, is Charlotte Worthington the person that she saw on TV? And how many people in BMX have had that moment of, oh my God, I got to meet the person who was my hero? That's exactly what it's all about. You met your heroes,
Okay,
right?
here. How about this? How about this? How many people in chat watch the Olympics?
That doesn't
That
matter.
it does.
No,
But
because
these
you
are the
don't. The
people.
people who are in the chat aren't the people who are impacted and buying bikes because of the Olympics.
I'm not talking about buying. I'm talking about, do they really care or do they not? We're talking
What's
to
it
BMX.
matter if they care?
What do you mean? Does it matter? I'm a BMXer. Do I care? No. Do I think it does anything good for us? No. Am I a hater? Fine. Maybe I'm an old school
Well,
hater.
there's a bunch of people who are talking very nicely about the Olympics right now.
Oh, that's fine. But I just don't see. I just don't see it. For me,
So if you don't, if you so you don't think it should exist?
how many people are in the chat anyway? Is there like 4?
40.
Oh, 40. Okay. Well, fine. Maybe there's one person that agrees with me, and maybe I'm old and bitter, but I don't care. I didn't watch Swamp Fest.
It's
I didn't
okay
watch
if you
that.
don't care, but to say anything along the lines of it shouldn't exist is like saying that
Did I
people's
say it
no,
shouldn't exist? I said I don't care about it.
you're allowed to not care. You're not allowed to say it shouldn't exist. There you go.
I just don't care.
There's nothing wrong at all with that. It's better to not care than to hate on it. I don't think you're a hater for not caring.
I obviously think that there could be more to it for other people to give it better of a chance.
Well, it was also the first time. How many first times for anything are amazing? Didn't Edwin get into BMX from X Games? I'm sure there's going to be new kids who saw the Olympics and got into it. Kevin Jackson is the biggest hater in the chat, and he said he agrees with Ricky.
I told you there's one person, Kevin Jackson, right there, brother.
Oh, God, that's hilarious. Oh, God, that's too funny. We need to get more kids to watch Criminal Mischief. See, and that's the whole thing. Once someone sees the Olympics and is in or has their avenue to the Olympics, they see somebody out riding street in New York City or wherever they're riding street, and then they're in, then they get to find whatever they want. And they get to find the Criminal Mischief. They get to find what they want to do in BMX.
Someone said, "Who's Edwin?" I mean, you're right. I just I don't care, and I don't hear Mike Hoder getting help. I don't hear. I'm trying to think of people you wouldn't think, but those are the guys that I look up to and I think are good. And if you're gonna do street, and this always comes up, but that's street riding to me. I would like to see people like that get a chance and do things. And that's the hard part about Olympics is they're gonna choose guys that do the hippity spippity spinny backflippy hoopy hoobity dada.
Yeah, but look at then when you look at seeing someone like, I mean, people hate on him, but Nigel was not a part rider. Nigel was a street rider and got to where he was at. There's always an avenue to do better, and you yourself have already said, like, you can't just be a good bike rider and get helped out anymore. You have to do more than that. So the people who deserve the recognition and help might not get it because we live in a world where they have to do more and they might not be doing that.
Yeah, I mean,
there's always another avenue. The Olympics might be this huge giant thing, but there's also avenues for people who ride street. Nigel Sylvester, Brad Sims solely posts street clips and just blew up with corporate companies. So like there's always a way.
Well, I mean, you got to get an agent. Once you get an agent, you're golden.
Why don't more people have agents?
Because you have to be talented and be marketable. All right, you have to be marketable.
So basically you have to consciously try to make things happen. And there's so many people who might deserve for things to happen who don't consciously try, so they never have anything happen. Then there's people who have dumb luck. When you heard, like, listening to Jamie Bestwick talk about Dave Mirra on that podcast, Dave Mirra definitely did not get to where he was at by not trying. Dave knew what he was doing. Like, he didn't just magically become an amazing bike rider and then win all these contests and become a legend. Kier says, nah, you don't need an agent. Kier, you are an agent. That's why you don't need one.
Is he?
I mean, he could be. He's not, but he basically could be.
I think, like, obviously there's a lot of bias in here because we're all hardcore bikers, and I think a majority of us have been in this there's a lot of people in this chat right now that have been here 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have, like, BMX is like this. It's like a great, amazing flower that came out of the concrete and it grew, and then something happened and it gets smashed and it goes down and there's nothing there.
BMX smashes itself.
BMX is just a flower that's been smashed a billion times and it turns into nothing. That's basically what it is. You love it and then you hate it. You love it, you hate it. You love it.
And that's part of the problem is that something like the Olympics comes up and then people hate on it and try to smash it. Like, YouTube comes up and people start making YouTube channels and they're like, nope, we gotta hate on YouTube channels.
Adam LZ, he ruined it all.
except he literally people could be looking back on Adam LZ right now and being like, dude, Adam LZ opened a door that we took advantage of and got paid from Google and didn't have to rely on Joe Schmo going into a bike shop or buying a BMX frame online and putting money into the industry because we're getting paid by Google.
Yeah, definitely. So somebody asked me a question. MotoB said, Ricky, what's your thoughts?
Can we hold that real quick? I want to finish going through our top moments of BMX. I'll put that one in my notes.
I'm going to say it real quick. I've said this since the beginning. I believe people that blow up and get big, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've watched a lot of interviews for him, and I don't feel like he gave back to the guys and talks about the guys and says, hey, this guy got me here and this here, and give back thanks. I feel like people see BMX, but I've never been somewhere and a person's like, oh, Nigel, that's why you ride. I don't feel like he's the reason. Like, I just don't feel like, I think he's just lucky in his lane and it works for him, but I don't feel like it has a huge impact and it doesn't hurt BMX. It makes BMX better. It's the same thing the other day when somebody was complaining because one of those rappers was on a bike. Do I care that the rapper's on a bike? I don't care he's on a bike, but I'm glad that he was on one so people could see a BMX bike and maybe one person will buy one. So do I hate Nigel? No, I don't hate Nigel. I'm proud of Nigel. I'm glad Nigel's doing what he's doing. I just personally, my opinion, wish he would give props to Edwin, Ralph Sinisi, Tom White, all of the guys on the animal bikes, all of the places, even Blackman. Blackman pushed him. Those two grew up together. Like, give back props to the people you grew up with. That's all I care about. If you make it somewhere, don't forget it. Where am I from? Where am I from, Brad?
Montana, Ricky.
Montana. I've never forgot Montana, ever, and I won't.
Yeah. Two things. You described what your opinion on the Olympics is perfectly. Do I care that the Olympics exists? No. Am I glad? If one person buys a bike from it, yes. There you go.
I can be a walking contradiction. My first reaction is I don't give